Most women think professional and executive are the same thing. They are not. And that's exactly why so many accomplished women walk into a room looking polished, competent, and completely qualified, yet they still get perceived as more junior than they actually are. And while someone who dresses at an executive level will always look professional, that does not always go the other way around. Now, before you tell me, your office is casual, you're mostly on Zoom, or you don't have the budget to really overhaul the whole wardrobe, this has nothing to do with spending more money or wearing a suit every single day. Now, it comes down to really 3 specific clothing details. So now in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what separates a professional look from an executive one. Hi, my name is Basia Richard, and I'm a former celebrity stylist turned personal stylist. And for the past 15 years, I've helped executives, directors, and entrepreneurs walk into any room and immediately look like the woman in charge. And I work with my clients inside the Dress for Impact program, as well as one-on-one, and everything you need, you're going to find it in the description below. And so without further ado, let's do this. I work with women in leadership every single day, and majority of my clients come to me because their career has gone to the next level. They are more visible. They are leading meetings, presenting at conferences, sitting on panels, managing larger teams, but their wardrobe is still communicating an earlier version of them, a version that no longer reflects their authority, competence, or executive presence. So the first thing we always do, whether we are working with me inside the Dress for Impact program or we're working one-on-one, is to identify the gap between where they are professionally and what their wardrobe is actually communicating. And no, this does not really mean throwing everything out and starting over. In fact, the difference between looking professional and looking executive usually comes down to really, I would say, like the 3 specific elements. In those 3 things that really separate a woman who simply looks professional from a woman who walks into a meeting and immediately looks like she is in charge. So the first thing we're going to talk is quality. Now, when I say quality, I'm not just talking about the quality of the pieces itself. Yes, that's very important, but quality also refers to the fit of the garment, the fabric type, the construction, and the structure. And a lot of those elements are part of quality because, to be honest, when you see a really well-dressed leader, it's not necessarily what she's wearing. It's the pieces themselves and how well they are made, how beautifully the fit is, and how nice the fabrics are. And you might not even like those pieces for yourself. Maybe they're not your style, but when you see a really well-dressed leader who has that strong executive style, the pieces themselves have quality. So how do we even pay attention to quality? How do I determine it? How do you determine whether a piece is a good quality or not? So first, we have to start with the fit. There's no question about it. That piece needs to fit you really, really well. So when we are talking about a blazer, for example, the shoulder area needs to have that stronger structure. The overall structure of that piece needs to hold its shape. You don't want that blazer to look flimsy, right? You don't want the fabric to look cheap. That piece needs to have a stronger feel and look rich, regardless of whether it's made from polyester, wool, cotton, etc. Now, the shape itself really matters as well. When it comes to pants, one of the biggest difference I see is that, overly stretchy pants tend to look more professional than executive. Now, if you're choosing trousers, I want you to look for like a beautiful structured trousers with like a nice crease down the middle. The fabric should fit you really, really well and holds its shape on its own. Whether the fabric is, lighter or maybe more structured, it should still maintain its shape. The same thing applies to blouses, to sweaters, to dresses. The overall quality of the pieces should stand on its own. So the pieces themselves need to be really, really well made. They need to fit you really well. They need to have a structure or like this beautiful flow to them. And those are the things that really create that gap between looking professional and looking executive. So the second part is silhouette. And this is really, really important because outside of having, beautiful pieces that are good quality, they also have to flatter your shape, because you can have the most beautiful closet and the most beautiful wardrobe, but if those pieces aren't really flattering your shape, that's going to, make a huge difference. Now, it's going to really take away from looking and feeling executive in your wardrobe. So what do you want to pay attention to? So first of all, I do have another video that talks about, body shapes and what to wear. So definitely watch this after. I'm going to link it in the description below. But the most important thing is making sure that the silhouette really works for your body. So for example, if you're wearing a blazer, it needs to really fit you properly. It shouldn't pull across your body, right, when you button it. The shoulder line should fit you correctly. The sleeve length should hit you at the wrist. The same thing applies, to trouser length, for example. They should fit you properly through the waist and hips, and the rise should work for your body shape. So usually it should hit you where your natural waist is. The length shouldn't be too short, it shouldn't be too long. The same thing applies to dresses, skirts, blouses, coats. The silhouette has to work with your shape. Now, because choosing the right silhouettes for your body is just as important really as choosing the right quality pieces. And you can buy the most beautiful blazer in the world, but if the silhouette really doesn't work specifically for your shape, it never is going to look as elevated as it could. That's why silhouette is the second thing that really separates like a professional wardrobe from an executive wardrobe. Last but not least is how you put your outfits together. And honestly, I think this is where the biggest difference between professional and executive really happens. When I work with my clients, this is where most of them really struggle. They usually have, nice pieces. They have the blazers, they have the pants, they have the dresses, and everything gets worn with like black because it's easy. Or they just wearing the same combinations over and over because they don't know what else to do. Now, the question I hear all the time is, okay, Basia, so how do I actually make this look more elevated? And for me, one of the biggest thing is contrast. Now, contrast in fabrics, maybe pairing wool and silk, contrast in styles. So something that feels a little bit more structured with something maybe softer, more feminine. Contrast in color. So instead of like defaulting to the same black suit and navy suit that everyone in the office has worn in 1,000 times, right? Because one of the biggest differences between a professional outfit and executive outfit isn't necessarily the pieces themselves, it's how those pieces are styled together. The executive outfit has more dimension, more texture, more personality. It feels more intentional. And that's what creates that elevated executive presence that people notice immediately. So now you know what the big difference is really between professional and executive outfit. If you want to learn more, I have a free elevated work style guide and you're going to find it in the description below. Also, if you want to work with me, you're going to find more information in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week.